Hey everybody, this is David at Homestead Hacks and Hens. Look, they're hungry. They're looking for corn. They're empty. What we're going to do today is I'm going to empty one 40-pound bag of feed of corn, whole corn, into the feeder, and then I'm going to see how many days that lasts, and then I'm going to collect the eggs within that time period and see how many eggs we get total to see how much we have in our feed cost and how much it's costing us per dozen of eggs. So the only thing I've done this video, the last video I did was about feed cost and trying to buy everything you can very cheap for your chickens. You know, close out food at grocery stores. I bought the tortilla shells, 20 bags for $1. I'm gonna go back and get some more of those. And bread scraps, anything out of your refrigerator, anything you can get at a restaurant, that is what I feed to the chickens. So it's not a lot in their diet. I feed the whole corn, and the rest of their diet is foraging, which is probably amounts to probably about 70-80%, I would say, because they don't eat a whole lot of this corn. I'm thinking now, considering the big old geese eat this too. They eat, and they're big geese. And then there's 3 ducks that eat out of it too. So it's not just the chickens, but we'll see how long this bag lasts. I'm gonna pour it in, and today's Monday, and we'll see how long it lasts, and be the best way to figure how much we have in feed cost. And the chickens are laying very well. I picked up 16 eggs yesterday, and that's not what counting. I didn't look anywhere else because there's a couple other spots now that the chickens are kind of veering off to instead of their nest boxes because they've been out so long. So I may have to reset that in them and pin them up for a few days to get it back in their mindset where they're supposed to be laying. Sometimes you got to do that because they'll adjust to the outside and they want to start laying elsewhere. But if you pin them back up for a few days, get them used to forcing them back into those nest boxes, and then it'll do you for a little while. Every now and then you got to do that, but it's no big deal. 2 or 3 days and it'll kind of reset their way of thinking. But anyway, so I'm gonna tear the top. I'm gonna put it on pause, tear the top of this, dump it in, and I know they're gonna attack because they're hungry, because they're completely empty and they're all sitting around waiting for their food. Okay, as you can see, it's completely empty, and that's a 40-pound bag. It's not a 50-pound. You can't hardly get a 50-pound anymore unless you would get probably at a local feed store. They may still. I haven't been. I usually get it at Tractor Supply, and I need to check other places because I know I can get it probably cheaper. So I need to look around. This is around $10.90. There it is, $10.99. $10.99 a bag at Tractor Supply. Okay, there it is. 40-pound of corn. Close the lid up. Well, I thought they would go right after it, but they didn't. Not yet. They probably hadn't figured out it's in there yet. They will. Throw a little bit out here. Get them started to it. Well, there they go. The cat don't eat it all. They're not real hungry. I fed them some of those bread scraps and just some stuff out of the refrigerator, and that was going bad or getting old. So what we'll do, I'll resume the recording again once it's empty in 2 or 3 days or however long it is. We'll just see how long it lasts. Hey everybody, this is David at Homestead Hacks and Hens. Well, it's Wednesday, February 22nd, and this is our experiment we've been doing with the amount of feed that it takes for a certain amount of dozen, what it cost me per dozen eggs. So what we did, a little recap, I put 40-pound bag in this feeder. And I was going to count how many days it took. It took 9 days for it to empty, 40 pounds. And I got 138 eggs. 138 eggs, it's like 11.5 dozen. And what it translates is I got $1.04. You can check me on the math there, make sure I'm right, but it's around about that, I'm sure. $1.04 per dozen. My cost is what I have in the eggs that we grow. I kept close count on it, and now since then, I found a 50-pound bag for the same price. I got this 40-pound bag for $10.99 at Tractor Supply. I've since then found a 50-pound bag for the same price, $10.99. Had I fed that, I'd have been under $1 a pound. So from now on, I'm going to start buying from them. So from now on, I'll have under $1 for a dozen of eggs. And it's only February 22nd. These chickens are still babies. They're still young. They was born last April. They're not even a year old. Some of them are still not laying yet. And I keep getting every now and then some small eggs indicating that that was their first lay, or one of their first lays. But anyway, as the season goes on and the grass gets greener and richer and more bugs appear, they're going to be eating more and more of what's out here that they're grazing on, plus what scraps I feed them. So if any of you out there would like to do this same experiment, see where you're at on food cost. I'm kind of curious to see what everyone, because it's different everywhere. Different climates, different cost to feed, different types of chickens. These are black 6-link. These are really good chickens. They're very docile, very friendly chickens. They're about the friendliest chickens I've ever grown. I've grown them since babies, but of course every chicken I grow from babies. But they're just extremely friendly, and they follow you around the yard like a little dog. But if you don't mind, do the same experiment. Mark down on the calendar when you put the feed in and let them eat it until it's completely gone. Count your eggs. See how many dozen eggs you get for that amount of feed. That'll tell you how much you have in your eggs. I'm sure some of you will be really surprised to what you get. It just, that way it lets you know. And especially if you're going to sell eggs, you got to know how much you have in them. You can't have $2-3 in a dozen eggs and then sell them for cheaper. You just can't do it. You're going to lose money. So do that little experiment. See what you get. And that's about it, folks. Don't forget, click on the little bell, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Homestead Hacks.